Hey everyone, it's me, Sarah.
And I'm Rocky.
We are SavageDisneyPins.
And recently back from magical Orlando.
Orlando!
And today we're going to be talking about the weird and alien and foreign experience that pin trading has become in the park. Because it is not the same animal that we're used to at all.
So this video is definitely going to be geared to the fellow pin traders out there that are visiting Walt Disney World. We just kind of wanted to talk about our experiences and some places for you to go to pin trade.
This is also going to be useful because it's probably going to be very similar once Disneyland California opens at the end of September or beginning of October, which is the rumor. It's subject to California state rules.
Yeah, nothing official yet, but whenever Disneyland does reopen, the likelihood of them having very similar pin trading etiquette, to say the least, it's going to be very similar. So we definitely want to talk about that and then give you some locations that you can go to in Disney World that we found.
If you're traveling any kind of distance to get to the park, my first pro tip is pack light in the category of pins. You're not going to need binders full of pins. So if you're looking to trade with cast members, pack lightly. There's only a limited amount of locations and selection is limited. It's not like before where you would see a lanyard or a satchel on every cast member on the park practically. It's only a couple of locations. Some parks have more than others. So don't bring, a metric ton of pins.
Like I did. I didn't want to pack too few. I didn't know how many to pack. I really had no idea. I did pack some of my bigger traders too. I didn't know if I was going to be interacting with other fellow traders when we were there. I know that they are out there. There's a number of bigger traders out there that still get together in their groups, maybe in like Epcot or Downtown Disney, things like that. I didn't happen to see any of them, and I didn't really go out searching for them because we were really trying to be on vacation. So in reality, 6 days in Disney World, and this is all the trading I did. This was it. This is commonly what I would do in like a day.
Half a day.
A day. I like pin trading, okay? So this is like nothing for a 6-day trip. So the pin trading within the parks is very limited, and this is all we did.
When cast members were refreshing their boards, what I typically noticed is they were putting good quality, newer hidden Mickey pins up on the board with pretty good regularity. Yeah, you had your mix of the pins you always see on the boards, but every time we went up, we were able to find something that was not a fake and relatively new and something that Sarah hadn't had and was specific to that park, which was nice.
So you want to go over like the new kind of etiquette of what pin trading in the parks looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, so you will see, we'll pop a picture up in here, but you'll see one of these kind of like sandwich boards or a little tabletop sign saying looking to trade. And I'm just going to read what the board says. Step 1, choose your own Disney pin to trade us and drop them in our trading box. So they have a little container that they put out, and that's kind of like, that's the dirty pins.
Yeah, the cast members aren't touching your pins to reduce any kind of infectious spread. They're sanitizing them first.
Right. So you get to look at the board, and if there's a pin that you want to trade for, you take one of your pins and put it in the little bucket. Step 2, point to the pin you would like from our trading board. So that's like the same rule as always. You would say, hey, can I trade you for that pin?
Unlike trading in the past, though, you really can't ask to see the pin in advance.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't ask to see the pins. It was really, really hard. It was really hard. You couldn't inspect the pins.
You couldn't look at the backs.
Right. So you had to look at them through kind of like this. They would put the board up to like plexiglass, which I'm not complaining at all. I don't mind every once in a while getting a scrapper. So we did end up getting a couple scrappers. They're not on this because I put them to the side. I use them for craft projects. I don't recirculate them or anything like that. It's really hard when you're pre-COVID you could say, hey, can I take a look at this pin? And you could look at the enamel, you could look at the paint, you could look at the back, the Mickey waffling. You could look for all of those telltale signs of it being like a fake or a scrapper, and you don't have that opportunity right now. So you're kind of taking your chances a little bit more. I got really excited about one pin, and so I traded for it, and when I got it, I was like, ooh, that's not good. That's not good. But that was the risk that I took in trading that pin. So that's step number 2. That was a very long step number 2.
Yeah, to get back to the point you started making at the beginning of that, before you went off on the tangent.
I went off on a tangent.
About scrappers, but is the distancing measures. So either the pins are going to be held up behind plexiglass where you can't make contact at them, or they have a rope and the board is 6 feet back with the cast member. Like in Epcot, the person was far back, but they had a clever system, I thought. They had color-coded squares on the board and where the pins are, so you would say, hey, I want the third one in the orange square. Mm-hmm. And the cast member would usually be able to find it pretty quickly.
So step number 3, our cast members will remove your desired pins from the board and give to you. So you can still do 2 pins per person. So commonly, like, I would do 2 pins and Rocky would do 2 pins, or 1 and 2 or whatever, right? So 2 pins max per person, and they would take them off for you and slide them either under the plexiglass or across the table to you.
Now, there was I believe 1 exception, maybe 2, where they were doing something a little funky and fun. They had mystery pin trades where they had a box with just numbers. You couldn't see what you were trading for. And they limited it at 1 trade per person, which I always like the gamble. Like, what am I going to get?
So that was just 1 location had that.
Okay, that was just 1 location.
Yep. Okay, so then step number 4, enjoy your new pins and look for more trading boards throughout the resort. I like how number 4 is like, now please take your pin and go away.
A couple of other things I really appreciated is each of them had a queue with spacers, just like the rides in the park.
Yeah, the floor markings.
The floor markings. So they had a line that was 6 feet back from where the pin trading actually happens, which, if you're like us, is a little aggravating because you want to look at the pins before you get up to the board. But we understood. You stand there and then they wait. What's also nice, as soon as you get your pins from the cast member, there's within 3 feet, there is always a hand sanitizer station. So after you take that pin from that cast member, you can then sanitize your hands or the pin if you so choose.
There's hand sanitizers like every 6 steps.
Yeah, I have a theory that at the beginning of this pandemic, when there was a shortage in the world of hand sanitizer, it's because Disney bought it all. I was so impressed with the armada of hand sanitizer dispensers that park had.
There was one at the entrance of every store, the exit of every store, the entrance and exit of every ride, sometimes middle of the queues for the rides. Like, oh, they were everywhere. It was great.
You'll have to forgive Sarah and her face and the sniffles. Also, you'll notice our shelves are a little barren. She's pulled down all of her stuffed collectibles and her wishables because Oregon is on fire and we are literally 20 feet from an evacuation zone on a map.
Yeah.
Level 1, we're not in any immediate danger, but we're ready to go if we need to. Right now, the danger is that all of the wishables that Sarah actively trades and her collectibles will smell like smoke because everything smells like smoke. So Sarah
vacuum sealed all of them. This is just what was on. This is just what was on the shelves. But they're all vacuum sealed, so they won't smell like smoke anymore. Hopefully, I saved them. So locations.
The first day we went to Hollywood Studios and we didn't pin trade. We were in vacation mode. We didn't bring any pins into the park, I don't think, that first day.
I had them. I had a couple just to kind of see. We didn't find any locations in Hollywood Studios.
We weren't honestly actively looking that first day, though.
We weren't really. I did hear that there is a location at Celebrity 5 and 10. We honestly didn't.
We can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, sorry about that one. That's the only one that we have heard about in Hollywood studios. By the time this video comes out, things may have changed, so definitely continue to ask the cast members.
We had a list of where we thought all the locations were going into this, and they were subject to change day of. As of 2 weeks ago, this is the current information.
Yeah, end of August, early September. This is what we found. Then we went to Epcot. The only location in Epcot is at Pin Trading Central. And it's right out front of the sliding doors, so you don't even have to go inside the store. They have a rope set up and the ground markers, and that is the board that Rocky mentioned earlier that has the colored squares on it.
And no plexiglass 6 feet apart. When you're looking at Spaceship Earth, it's immediately to the right underneath the ride.
Yeah, so if you've ever been to Pin Trading Central, it's right in front of that store. And if you are a pin person, I assume you've been to Pin Trading Central. It's my favorite store in Epcot. Then we went to Animal Kingdom. Now, Animal Kingdom was like a super hot, miserable, humid day. I didn't carry a lot of pins with me. At one point, I didn't have any pins with me, so we did actually miss one location that we saw.
Yeah, we missed trading in Pandora, though we did see the location. It's over kind of by Navi River Journey and the restaurant.
What we were told by the cast member in Animal Kingdom is that the pin trading locations are only set up for a certain amount of time during the day. So they all have these like outdoor booths set up around the park. And when we were there, they were only open from like 1 to 4. And obviously that could change at this point. So again, make sure to ask the cast members. But they closed a couple hours before the parks closed.
When we went over to Dino Land, there was supposed to be a booth right in front, or a little umbrella and a stand in front of Primeval World, but it was really hot. No one was pin trading. They took it down and moved it into the gift shop, so we actually had to talk to...
the gift shop of Dinosaur.
Yeah, the gift shop of Dinosaur. And we had to beg the employee to see the board, so they pulled it up behind the counter for us and traded us.
Begged. I said, is there a pin trading board? And she said, for you, of course.
How do you say no to that?
Anyway, so there's one in Dino Land, there was the one in Pandora, there's one in Africa, and then we also were told that there's one kind of near the Tree of Life. We didn't happen to see that one, but...
Yeah, that's the one right as you enter the park. We ended up trading there. You remember that ranger station was across the bridge from like the entrance into the...
Oh, near the gift shop?
Yeah, so that was the one near the tree.
Forgot. So that to me is not really near the tree. To me, near the tree is like Bug's Life.
Yeah. In the tree.
So this wasn't near that. This was like down the main thoroughfare of like shops in Animal Kingdom at the end of that.
So when we went to Animal Kingdom, we found that it had the second most amount of pin stations in the park next to Magic Kingdom.
There were comparatively a lot. That's where the better part of my trading came from. So let me just run down the list. Space Mountain Gift Shop, Emporium, Pirates Gift Shop, Memento Mori's, the Splash Mountain Gift Shop, not the one, there's one that's closed, but then there's one that is right off the ride, so you have to go way back in to get that. Sir Mickey's, and then the Mickey meet and greet location on Main Street. The majority of these were the plexiglass ones. The only one we didn't find was the Emporium one. We didn't really know where. We kind of looked at the different registers, but never really found it. And then the Sir Mickey's, we actually heard originally that it was at the PhilharMagic gift shop, Fantasy Fair, but I think the day before we got there, it had moved over to Sir Mickey's.
Yeah, Sir Mickey's had a lot less foot traffic, whereas the one in Fantasyland, they don't want people congregating. So.
Right, because that's the exit of PhilharMagic. So they moved it over to Sir Mickey's, which I actually think is a cuter store anyway. So I was happy to go into Sir Mickey's.
Yeah, and far as the Emporium one goes, according to the cast member that we talked to, it's a roving pin board that moves around the shops, not just Emporium, on Main Street. So day to day, it could change. So if you get lucky, you get lucky.
And we just never found it.
In 2 days, we didn't get lucky.
Yeah. Rocky also mentioned earlier the one that was like the secret one in the box. That location was the one at the Mickey's Meet and Greet, which is like right at the front of, right under the train station. There were a couple places where I didn't trade. I felt like the Splash Mountain location was kind of down for the majority of the 2 days that we spent in Magic Kingdom. It was down more than it was running. So I don't think that there was a lot of traffic going through the gift shop. And so the board was a little, so we didn't trade there, but I think we traded everywhere else, at least one pin everywhere that we found.
Which, not bad, all things considering.
Yeah, this is a pretty good amount for like COVID times, I think. In Epcot, we went back to Pin Trading Central maybe a couple times. Obviously, you can't go constantly. Can't just like get back in line.
Well, that is kind of it. I hope this helps set your expectations for if you're making a trip or planning a trip or waiting with bated breath for California to open so you can get back into the pin trading game.
Yeah, just be prepared. It's not like it used to be. I think that this is sticking around for a while. So if you are a pin trader and you like trading in the parks, just be aware and be prepared for this new process. It was hard. It was hard not to like feel and touch the pins. That was, I think, the hardest for me.
Yeah. If you've gone and seen locations that we may have missed, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to know and help spread the word for the other pin traders out there who might be going in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button down below.
For more content like this and other Disney content, hit subscribe.
Until next time, stay savage, everybody.
Bye.
Unlike trading in the... That was a weird noise you did.
It was like a guttural burp thing.
That's good staying in.